Hey, welcome to the Dripping Stone Podcast, the podcast where two friends raise a glass and have a conversation. I'm Nick.
I'm Kyle.
Kyle.
Yes, sir.
Still summer.
Indeed it is.
I feel like we just did this.
Yeah. We did just do it.
We did. We record back to back. That's no secret.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see we're wearing the same clothes as last week.
Yeah, should we start doing that? Should we you can bring another black t-shirt? Switching into it?
Listen, all I really
Freshen
have is black t-shirts and maybe some blue ones.
Right.
Like this is it. This is all I got.
Nah, I think that's a slightly lighter shade of black.
I could change my hat. I got another hat.
There you go.
You want me to do that?
Nah.
Okay. Kyle, this week,
Yep.
we're expanding our horizons again.
Yeah.
Dude, that's 2 weeks in a row.
I know, man.
Well, that's who we are.
Trailblazers.
I don't play basketball.
Oh.
I mean, I can.
I play so little basketball, I didn't get that reference at first.
Well, you're welcome.
I had to figure it out. And I got
What is he talking about? Oh, it's a team.
Huh.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Michael Jordan didn't play for that one.
Yeah, the New England Trailblazers.
I think San Antonio Trailblazers. That's it. All right. So we have here
Yep.
a product that's existed in different iterations for a couple of years now. I mean, maybe the better part of a decade.
Yeah, it looks like whiskey.
But you're seeing a resurgence in this kind of product. And these are this is the Jack Daniel's.
Woo, love Jack Daniels. All right.
Country cocktails.
What?
Now, what I mean by in terms of resurgence of this kind of thing is the canned cocktail is having a new day, if you will.
Yeah, why not? You know, I mean,
you got seltzers.
Seen all these seltzers take off.
Exactly.
The huge boom in cideries.
Exactly.
You know, like why not try to cash in on that?
And of course, you know, you've got a big boy whiskey name like Jack Daniel's associated with this. You know, people are going to gravitate towards it.
Yeah.
This is a malt beverage.
What does that mean?
It's beer adjacent.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's more like beer. So when I think of it says Jack Daniel's Country Cocktails.
Yep.
I'm thinking there should be some Jack Daniels in this.
Yeah, a little Jack and Coke. Because isn't that a thing? Isn't that a thing they do?
Yeah, they do. They have like canned Jack and Coke. They have, a bunch of I think Jim Beam has like Jim Beam Highball maybe. Maybe I'm making that up. But I know like different whiskey producers are kind of jumping on that bandwagon as well.
Right.
And I know that there's a bunch of spirits producers that, you know, they'll make their spirit, but then they'll make a canned cocktail version.
Right.
So it's good to go. You don't have to mix anything. You don't have to worry about any of that. Here you go.
Yeah. For a long time, I had a bottle of, it was a Jefferson's Bourbon
Manhattan. Yep. I know Old Forester does their mint julep already mixed.
I've got 2 bottles of that.
Yeah. So, you know,
unopened.
Can't imagine why. So a lot of spirits companies are doing that.
Yeah.
And what they've done, instead of doing it in those bottles, they've scaled it to this kind of product, which again, this is not in our wheelhouse normally.
No.
So I figured we'd try it and see what happens.
It is, you know, I agree that the summertime is kind of like the appropriate time to experiment into these kinds of things.
Let's see what we can do with this.
Yeah.
Like we got time on our hands. Let's see what happens.
Why not?
Okay. You ready to get into it?
Okay.
All right. So we've got 4 flavors here. Why don't you go ahead and open that? 4 flavors, which they are the watermelon punch, the Lynchburg lemonade, the down home punch, and the southern peach. These are 16-ounce cans?
Damn.
Oh, man.
Okay.
All right. What we got first?
We're starting with the watermelon punch.
Okay.
This is at a 4.8% alcohol by volume.
Okay.
I was just kind of quickly looking over premium malt beverage. Be responsible. Best served ice cold. So
Well,
there's little flavor as possible.
We got to ask cold.
Fresh taste served cold. Man, they're really pushing that cold.
They want you to make sure it's cold.
Flavored beer settling may occur.
Okay. Well, do you tip it upside down for a second? That's going to spray everywhere. You want me to open it then?
I thought you. I was just paying. I was just doing what you said. All right. Oh God! I already see the color of this.
Pour it in that glass. I gotta see it. It's gonna be lime. Oh no, it's pink.
God.
That is not what I thought it was gonna be. Man, that sounded good.
God bless, man. Like a melted Jolly Rancher.
Can I see the can?
Indeed.
Do I have high hopes? Yeah, you're right. They're really pushing the serve cold thing.
Yeah. Hard. God. We're going to need a bucket.
To throw up in?
To drink all this? Good Lord.
Well, good news is Carol's still here in the studio. We can give her some too.
Man, give that a whiff, sir. Watermelon Jolly Rancher.
Whoa. Yeah, for sure. Wow.
Man, like on point.
No lie. Like it is like they melted down a watermelon Jolly Rancher. Right? Okay. And just sweet AF.
Yeah.
Like, man, I what have I gotten us into, Kyle?
Dude.
I mean, all right.
I got 400 calories in this half a glass right here.
Does it have caloric information?
No way. No way it's giving you that info.
No, they're not going to tell you that.
No.
It's definitely not 100 calories like last week.
Woo.
All right. Yeah, it's pink.
Yep.
And it's watermelon Jolly
It
Rancher.
is watermelon.
All right. I'm going in.
All right.
Dear Lord.
Ew. That is surprisringly bitter.
I don't want to take another sip.
I don't know that I need to.
Wow, that is terrible.
Yeah, it's like if you were to get a watermelon snow cone, but just drink the syrup and don't actually put it into a snow cone. Like this might be okay if you poured it over a snow cone.
Should we put it over ice? Do you think that'd make it better?
No.
Oh, wow. Wow, that is sweet.
Yeah, who would drink a whole can of that? Oh.
Okay, I'm trying to pull out some flavors here, and it's just watermelon Jolly Rancher, like you melted it down, or that snow cone 100%, or like
yeah, like you get the snow cone and you get down to like the bottom of it where it's
like
all just that concentrated juice, like, and it's like it does have that kind of like sweet bitter.
Yep,
and that's what this is.
It's
every
like
sip.
It's like cotton candy, but like you got your cotton candy wet.
Yeah,
and it's like.
Yeah, you took the whole big, huge thing of cotton candy and condensed it down and did it as like a sugar cube.
like a. Are you getting like any sort of alcohol nature on this at all?
No.
No, it's just sweet. And it doesn't. Doesn't get better.
Mm-mm. I don't know that I could pick out and say that like there's this kind of an alcoholic thing happening.
Like. I don't. If you actually had Jack Daniels in this, it would. I don't know if it'd make it. I don't know if it'd make it.
I don't want to waste it.
I don't know if it'd make it better, but at least it'd give you something else to think about. Because man, it's just straight gross.
Yeah, just
pass that over to Carol. Let her try it. It's gross on the aftertaste. Like it's still in my. It's like coating my throat. Exactly.
Right. A little bit of
it's just all sugar. Yeah.
Bite. I mean, we could throw some of the Jim Beam in it.
I think it would make it better, to be honest.
It probably would.
I don't want to
waste Jim Beam. Okay, is that sacrilege?
We could put some of that wild turkey, that 80 proof in it.
And disgrace the name of wild turkey?
Woo.
All right. Well,
we're going to do all these?
For science. I think we have to. I think we have to do them all.
Surely, like, because like, there's nothing about that is like watermelon. It's just like that fake, candied thing.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing about that like is refreshing and delightful.
Everything about this says
gross.
hangover and death.
Yeah. Okay. Gross.
Like, if you want people to enjoy your product, don't give them that.
Yeah, I don't know a place where it's like, like or the type of person it's like, yep, no, I'm gonna have me one of those watermelon punches.
Yeah. Well,
although it does have like a Hawaiian punch. Because I never enjoyed Hawaiian punch myself, so it does have kind of that Hawaiian punchy kind of like overly sweet, just kind of. Bleh.
The thing is though, it's not even high. It's not high ABV. So like you're gonna have to drink several of these before you're like, ooh,
yeah,
you know. And at that point, you've consumed so much sugar that
a day's worth of calories,
right, in a can. Woo. All right, well,
cool.
Before we move on to the next one,
yep.
What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, let's start a conversation.
Yeah.
Around this thing. Something that recently wrapped up.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago that we haven't had a chance to talk about.
Okay.
Did you watch Obi Wan Kenobi?
I did watch Obi Wan Kenobi.
We're Star Wars fans.
Yeah, we are.
We enjoy the wars and the stars. And it's been a minute since we've talked Star Wars. You know, we did the episode way back on how excited we were for the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
And then that happened, and then we've talked about the Mandalorian a couple of times.
Yep.
And how things were moving in a positive direction. And so at this point, the book of Boba Fett has come out,
right?
And a lot of stuff has been announced, and then there was like the huge excitement of the Obi Wan Kenobi series coming out. So we haven't really done much of we got a lot of Star Wars that we can kind of hash out.
Let's talk about that.
All right.
I will say, and like literally as of when we're recording this, within a couple of hours ago, they just released the season 3 of The Mandalorian release date.
Oh, cool. When is that?
February of 2023. So they haven't got like a specific date yet. But you and I both know that those dates can move around just a little bit depending. But yeah, February of 2023 is when the proposed release date is.
Cool. That's not too terribly far away.
No, it's far enough away that you're like, okay, I want to prepare for it, but not so far when they like said season 2 of Mandalorian was going to be like, okay, what? We got to wait a year or
over
2 years? Yeah.
At least this is within the year.
Yeah. Ish. Yeah. Yeah, within the year.
Yep.
So, okay. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay.
Overall thoughts.
Start to finish, it was a little underwhelming.
Yep.
Because I think there was so much hype to see Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
To see Hayden Christensen. To know that they were coming back to do this. Human nature. Like your excitement just goes through the roof as a Star Wars fan to know that we're going to get more of this. And there was several years ago, like that was a rumor that this was gonna there's gonna be a movie,
right?
And my assumption would be that because of COVID and because of the success of The Mandalorian, they were like, oh, well let's pull this back, stretch it out, and let's make it a series. And it kind of felt like that to me. Like this, it could have been a much tighter story, more compacted thing.
Yep.
And probably benefited from that. But overall, it definitely saved itself by the last episode.
Yeah, for sure. For me, I think that it is a storyline that was far tighter, and they fluffed it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that necessarily through story, but they did it through like shots and placement and just like unneeded things.
Right.
That I wasn't disappointed by, but I was also like, you didn't need to do that.
Right.
These kind of things you've added, they're not bad. Like I enjoyed the whole series. It's just like, you've made some interesting decisions here.
Right.
But I am that person who was super hyped to see Ewan McGregor come back. I mean, I like Ewan McGregor as an actor.
Same.
I really like him as Obi-Wan.
Still do.
And this didn't dissuade me from liking that character at all. Mm-mm. In fact, like, I don't know if I like him more, but it just solidifies like, no, you are a central character to this entire storyline.
Right.
And I really like you as a character.
Yeah. I saw a post somebody made of that was about Obi-Wan and talking about like how he's lost everything.
Right.
And he is kind of that tragic figure throughout Star Wars. It's like he's lost, he's lost his apprentice, he lost his master, he lost the love of his life, he lost all of these things, but he still perseveres through it.
Right.
And it is kind of like that, it's like a similar thing to Thor,
Yep.
of like all the things that he's lost, but he still does the right thing kind of thing. And it's a cool take on it.
This was the first in the Star Wars series that we've seen so far where I wanted more of the character, but I was good. Like, if this is all I get,
Right.
I'm actually good with it.
Right.
Like, at the end of the first season of The Mandalorian, I said something similar, but I was like, I need to see more of what's going to happen here.
Right.
I feel like the way they ended this was done in such a way that if it didn't come back for another season, it's not a big deal. Because you kind of, you did the Leia thing, you kind of touched on the Luke thing,
Right.
but you've also set up the character Obi Wan to still be on Tatooine, still doing the hermit thing.
Yeah.
But I want more of him, because so much of this series was about him, but was about Leia too.
Sure.
And which I don't mind, but it's almost like, and I don't know what else would have brought that character back to kind of shake him, but.
Yeah, I mean, I was when you first saw Leia, I was like, "Oh, holy crap! Like that's Leia."
Yeah,
and like that was cool. And then once I realized that the whole thing was going to be
centered
a
around
story
her,
that involved her and him, in this wolf cub kind of relationship, I was kind of like, "Oh,
yeah,
bummer,"
Mm-hmm.
because like that's what we're already doing with the Mandalorian. And the echoes of that are just kind of like stale, for the moment.
Well, and I think why it works so well with the Mandalorian is because this is a character as a Mandalorian that we know enough about, but it's always been on the periphery. Whether it's been through bounty hunters or it's been through just kind of standalone characters, but because you have Obi Wan Kenobi, who is such a central character to the entire franchise. And then you're putting him in that wolf and cub kind of situation in 6 episodes, or was it 7? It was.
I think
pretty,
it was 6.
Okay, it's pretty compact. It just felt like I've seen this.
Well, it was that, and for me, it works so much better with the Mandalorian because we don't know where that story's going.
Absolutely,
we know essentially where this has to end up.
Right.
So it's just more or less how are we going to get to there.
Right.
So it's not as engaging.
And I mean, that's a good point, because all of the characters that you kind of have a stake in, are going to survive at least until, they're 20 years old.
Right.
I mean, Obi Wan Kenobi is not going to die in any of these episodes.
Right.
Darth Vader is not going to die in any of these episodes. Luke and Leia are going to live. The Organas are going to live until a certain point. But, you're not going to, you don't have any of those stakes.
Right.
So you have to create anticipation and suspense in other ways, and I don't think they do that enough.
Well, and I'm never a huge fan of things that they start where our understanding is for these characters, and then it ends in that exact same spot.
Right.
So it's like we went through this whole thing to end up right where we started.
Right.
Like I remember that being like a big criticism that I had for like one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies of, all right, we're introduced to Jack Sparrow here. He's on the search for the Black Pearl, and he's down on his luck. And at the end of the whole trilogy, we're at the exact same place where we started,
right,
the whole
exactly.
adventure. And it's like, bummer.
What did
I've been
we
watching
gain
this
from
whole adventure to see him in a different spot.
Sure.
But here we are.
Yeah.
And I thought the same thing of this, of like, we ended with the return or the Revenge of the Sith with Obi-Wan being sent to Tatooine to study with Qui-Gon and to watch over Luke, and we end this exactly the same way, which granted, that's kind of where it has to be for the start of A New Hope.
Sure.
But, I mean, I think season 2 has already been greenlit,
Yeah, I
and
think
they're
so,
doing
too.
it. So you didn't have to end this one right there.
Right.
You could have ended it in a new place, because now we're going to have to assume that the end of season 2 is going to end with Obi-Wan back on Tatooine watching over Luke.
Right. And then some sort of hijinks are going to ensue with Luke.
So it's like,
because
again, we kind of
they're
know
coming
where
after
it
him.
ends. Yeah.
Right. And I don't think that provides room for the character to grow, because we know where the character is
Right.
in A New Hope.
Right.
So we know, like, again, he's just this hermetic kind of guy who just oh, Ben Kenobi's just a little weird. He's off in the side. It feels like you're trying to, yes, give me more, which I really appreciate, but I don't know what it's doing for me long term. I don't know what's like. It's actually like building that character and the mythos of that character.
Right. And I think it's kind of a bit of a downfall for you took a character that was fantastic and everybody genuinely loved that character and wants more of that character, but now you're forcing it.
Exactly.
And you didn't give yourself the room to do that.
Yep.
So like anything that you keep adding in now, like I thought they did it just about as well as you could have done it. Like I really enjoyed seeing Obi-Wan and Vader come together and have a moment and have dialogue together. Like I think the shot of in the last episode of once Obi-Wan's hit Darth Vader's mask and that opening is there and the blue light shines on him and he's able to actually talk to him and say, hey, what's happened here is not your fault.
Right.
I killed Anakin Skywalker. And then the red comes up and takes over his face.
So beautiful. Like
dude,
it's awesome.
Like that was fantastic.
And I love in that scene, and we're talking about like the big lightsaber battle, which I think is probably one of the best lightsaber battles in all of Star Wars I've seen.
Sure.
And I love that fight. But you also have the voice of Darth Vader and the voice of Anakin Skywalker melding together, which is so perfect.
Right.
Because for Obi-Wan Kenobi, his friend is still Anakin Skywalker.
Right.
And he still thinks you're there.
Right.
And in that moment, you're right. Like, no, this Darth Vader is telling Obi-Wan Kenobi, I have killed Anakin Skywalker. It wasn't you.
Well, and it adds so much to that quote in A New Hope of like, no, Darth Vader killed your father. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So good.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
And in that, like, I want to go back to that lightsaber battle. The fact that they chose to do this lightsaber battle in near darkness and like really let the lightsabers like
let
lightsaber
the colors kind of dictate what's happening.
And they did that a lot throughout this series. I mean, you have it in different iterations throughout, all of the films, small little glimpses, but they really push that forward.
Yeah.
And I think like this is the best I've seen a lightsaber look ever. Like it is awesome.
Right. Yeah. No, I love that whole battle. That last episode shined so well.
Yeah.
And like really saved it because
It really
leading
did.
up to that, I was kind of just meh on the whole series, but like there was so many great things that happened in that episode that it was like, okay.
Yeah, really, truly.
Yeah.
And like I wanted more of that throughout the series. If you would have given me bits and pieces of that in almost every episode, I mean, it would have been a home run.
Again, I think of that whole thing, if that whole thing is a 2-hour movie,
Yep.
You're able to cut out so much of that kind of fluff and stuff that you just really didn't need.
Right.
Especially when you're doing it, like if they had released this and just dropped it all, boom, here's 6 episodes, watch them.
Yep.
Might feel a little differently about it.
Probably.
Like, watching it week to week and having that anticipation of what's going to happen, and it's like.
But it also, to me, like in against that, it didn't feel episodic. It felt like we're just giving you like the next step,
Right,
whereas
here's the next-
Mandalorian felt episodic. Like,
Right.
It's going to end on a bit of a cliffhanger, but the next episode is going to
more
be
like individual stories.
correct
Yeah.
that are all tied together in
Right.
some way. Whereas this felt like one individual story that you just chopped into
no, we're just gonna
6
stop it right here.
6 segments, and it
And
just
we'll pick it up later.
right. So like for me, that didn't work.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
One more thing before we move to our next drink. I feel like the budget for this, the look of it, didn't match what I anticipated it to be. And what I mean by this is they're clearly filming it in that what do they call it? Like the
I forget what they
filming
call
it in the round,
But yeah,
the same way they're doing the
that
Mandalorian.
room.
Yeah, the Book of Boba Fett.
360.
Exactly.
Screen.
But it felt more hollow to me. And they used much smaller sets, it felt like. So like Mandalorian, you get these like huge, long, sweeping set ideas,
Right.
which is very Western.
Right.
In this, so much of Obi-Wan Kenobi is in like small little rooms
Yeah.
and small sets where like, yeah, it's in this, spaceport somewhere, or this
Right.
small city somewhere, but you get like this alleyway.
Right.
And that's it. And I think that doesn't really give the character room to breathe. I think that doesn't really give these beautiful shots because we know what they're capable of.
Right.
It doesn't allow, like, if you're going to set something on Tatooine again, and I understand like you have to in a lot of this case,
Right.
make it beautiful. And this just wasn't beautiful to me.
Right.
Like there are scenes, there are shots that are awesome, but for the most part, it's like, well, I don't want to see some back alley. Like I want to see the beauty of this planet.
Right. Yeah. I mean, in comparison to like one of the first 2 or 3 episodes of the first season of Mandalorian, when he's on Tatooine and he has to go get the egg
Right.
for the
Monster.
for the people.
Yeah.
What are those little guys called?
Tusken Raiders?
Yeah. No.
Oh, the Jawas.
The Jawas.
Yes,
Got to
yeah.
go get the egg for the Jawas. Like that makes Tatooine seem way more interesting
Right.
than the way that they handled it here.
Absolutely.
But hey, we did get hello there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's it.
That's all you needed. Cool.
Yeah. And of course, they're going to give it to you in the last episode in like the last 10
last
seconds.
line of the movie,
Yeah.
of the series. Yeah.
And it's perfect.
Yeah, no,
Like,
he nailed it.
Yeah. And I wonder, like, how much did Ewan McGregor have to practice? Like, because I read something that he said he had to become more familiar with that character's accent because it's
Right.
he's tried to, channel Alec Guinness.
Right.
But I wonder how much he had to like, hello there.
Yeah, I saw somebody where they had like the Alec Guinness hello there and the Obi Wan from Revenge of the Sith and this one like lined up, and it's like so pretty.
It's spot on.
It's like perfect.
It's perfect. Yeah. Well, you ready to go on to our next drink?
I want to bring up one more point really quick.
Okay.
Of like one thing I didn't necessarily like about that last battle was, do you think they made Obi-Wan and Vader a little OP, a little overpowered? Like him lifting those rocks and freaking just launching them at Vader. That concept, like, fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's like at the same time, like I've never seen you do anything close to that. And then at the same time, you're chucking these boulders at him, and like Vader's just like knocking him out with his elbow.
Yeah.
Like they're not even like making him flinch. I was like, I like the idea, I like the concept, but like he's not even feeling this.
Yeah.
So like,
It's-
what's the point of doing it?
it's-
They're like bubbles hitting him. They're just
It's
popping.
very like the Force Unleashed video games, like from 10 years ago at this point,
Right.
And the newer series, the last 3 films, it's very in that same vein,
Right.
Where it's like, no, we're gonna show you what the Force really is like, but then like if you're thinking in terms of the timeline as a whole, then you get to New Hope, and like none of that really happens.
Exactly.
Like the most power that Vader exhibits is like, choking some dude.
chokehold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I just saw you take down an entire
Pull a
spaceship.
ship out of the sky.
Right.
Which when Rey did that,
Cool.
everybody was like, "What?
Yeah, I
like,
thought
who
it was
can
cool.
do that? Like, you're telling me Vader can't do that?" And so
Right.
now it's like they're trying to go back and say, like, "Oh no, Vader could do that."
No, he could do that. And see,
he just didn't.
yeah, we gave it to you.
Why didn't he?
Yeah. And so like, yes, definitely
Like,
overpowered, but like,
But it changes so much because now Yoda pulling the X-wing out of the swamp is kind of like, wow,
yeah,
bravo, buddy. Like Vader ripped one out of the sky and freaking tore the thing apart.
Right.
So just, in that sense, it kind of like, because as soon as we finished this one, we put in A New Hope just to
Right.
kind of like, all right, cool. Like, what does this feel like now? And it is kind of like a,
oh, yeah. Well, and I wonder,
and I do get a little bit annoyed of how it makes me change how I interpret
exactly
those original movies.
those 3 movies. So I wonder if it's also like you're supposed to see it like Jedi against Jedi. And what I mean by that is like when you get in Attack of the Clones, when you get like the crazy flippy Yoda,
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
whoa, like that's Yoda. Okay.
Right.
But then you're right. You get to,
Dagobah?
thank you. And he's pulling the X-Wing
Right.
out and you're like, really?
Wow.
Like he's like focusing so hard to get this X-Wing out of the swamp. And you're like, dude, 30 years ago, you were flipping around everywhere. And like, I get that you're 30 years older, but
Well, but it's
whatever.
like for us though, like I remember the first time that I watched that.
Yeah.
When before the prequels and stuff like that, you're like, whoa, he just lifted that ship out
Right.
of that swamp.
Absolutely.
Like, Luke couldn't even like get it out of the water. And he's just like chilling with it. Like that was such a big moment.
Right.
And so like now that moment is nothing.
It falls flat.
You know? Like who cares?
If you think about it, right? If you think about it in the span of the whole movie,
Yeah.
or in the whole series,
Yeah. So like that's definitely something that I thought about that I'm like kind of bummed out by that.
yeah, it's a little weird. I think though, like if you think about it for those individual characters, like that's what I want to see out of them.
Mm-hmm.
But then if I think about them placed next to what they were in the prequels and what they are in the original, it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
But like that's what I wanted. I wanted to see.
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
sure. Like I wanted to
ships
see
being,
Yoda with a
you know,
lightsaber and what would he do with it?
Exactly.
And then you get it. And so okay.
Yeah.
Be careful what you wish for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All
All right, I'm gonna go pour out these drinks. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Give these little rinse and poo.
It'd be all right.
This is gonna be a really long episode. It's at 34 minutes right now.
That's okay.
I mean, we could. Never mind.
No, it's fine. All right, Kyle. Next on the list, we've got the Lynchburg Lemonade.
Wow.
Yeah, so I this is the one, like, if I'm thinking of these four in this pack, it's probably going to be the most normal, I guess. I don't know for sure, but
I mean,
we'll see.
I'm going to throw my money at the Southern Peach. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm hoping that one has a chance.
All right.
Booyah.
It didn't spray everywhere.
No, because, different caliber beverage. Not as much carbonation. Fill that to the rim. That's closer than I thought.
It looks like lemonade
Sure does.
in the glass. I mean, it's lemonade-esque.
Yep.
How's it smell?
Smells like a Sprite.
It smells like a Sprite.
Yep.
It doesn't have as much carbonation because, like, you smell a Sprite and it's like you're hitting hit in the face with bubbles.
Yep.
You seen that like challenge? People try and like chug a Sprite without burping.
That's pretty funny.
That's funny.
I mean, those two girls, like that's the most popular one. Like that's hilarious. She was like, "Oh, so good."
Yeah, it's I get no boozy nature at all.
Nope,
Just Sprite.
nothing Lynchburg about it.
No, sir. All right. Well,
Cheers, buddy.
yeah. Okay. Not terrible.
Sure.
It's still super damn sweet.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It would still benefit from carbonation.
Yeah, I need some more carbonation here. It's definitely lemonade. I mean, it's quintessential lemonade. It's like
Yep.
country time lemonade.
Yeah, pretty similar to Country Time.
They're all 4.8. Is that right?
That one is.
Yep. Yep. They're all 4.8. But I get no beery nature on this at all.
No malted beverage.
Nope. I'm not going to say it's enjoyable, but I'm going to say, like, it's fine.
A huge improvement
Oh, absolutely.
from the watermelon. Yeah,
This one I can finish.
yeah. This I could I could see if I'd ordered that, I could drink it.
I could drink it.
Yeah.
It's palatable.
That watermelon punch I would take back and be like, can I get something else?
This is
This
too
sucks.
much. Carol, what do you think about it?
I like it.
Carol likes it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it's not bad.
It is Sprite.
very spritey.
Yeah. But like flat Sprite.
Flat Sprite with a little extra lemon.
Yep.
Lemonade.
Yeah.
fine.
This is the one that they were like, we can make this a product.
Right.
And then someone's like, let's
All
do
right.
watermelon.
Well, let's do a whole bunch of other flavors too.
Okay. Yeah, this R&D person clearly got the memo. They knew what they were doing. Not bad. It's still sweet, but not bad.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Well, now that we got our second one, Kyle,
Woo! We are riding high.
Yeah. You want to talk about the Book of Boba Fett?
All right.
Yeah.
Book of Boba Fett. Overall thoughts. The best part of it was the Mandalorian episodes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like, it was Mandalorian 2.5.
Yep, for sure.
Which is surprising because, like, they really hit some pivotal moments in that relationship. I mean, you got a lot of Luke.
Yeah.
Which Luke looked fantastic.
Yeah, it really did.
Like, huge improvement over the Luke that we saw in Mandalorian Season 2. He looked great.
Yeah.
Like, that was, like, legit.
Yeah.
Like, that's
it looked
Luke
really
Skywalker,
good. That
man.
is absolutely young Mark Hamill, for sure.
Yeah.
Looks good. I agree, though. It's not, like, so much of the best parts of that series was the Mandalorian and was Grogu.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you've called it the Book of Boba Fett, but you didn't really let Boba Fett shine. I mean, and maybe it's just because he was outshined by the Mandalorian.
Right.
Because you want to see the continuation of that Mandalorian story, and that's what you've done.
Right. And I've seen the actor that plays Boba Fett recently has come
Tamura
out.
Morrison?
Yeah, saying that, you know, he would like to see them take Boba Fett back to being more of a scoundrelly, villainy, you know, more of a badass character, where they're trying to make him kind of like the anti-hero kind of a, you know, stereotype.
Right.
And he's like, nah, like I like Boba Fett being more of like that antagonist.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like strange that they're taking it that way, but I don't know.
I think they got the timeline wrong. Like, I think, like, setting it when they set it makes that character have to be the kind of anti-heroic character, because you've placed him in that role in The Mandalorian Season 2. You've kind of given him that role of, he's this, like, recovering badass. Like, he still is, this is what I'm going to do. But rather than, like, when he's taken over when he is taking over for Jabba the Hutt, and now he's here, you know, everyone around him's like, no, you've got to be iron fisted, and, like, you've got to kill people. You've got to make these decisions. He's like, that's not how we do things. And yet, like, I feel like the Boba Fett pre-Sarlacc pit would have been like, kill that dude. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't pay. Now he's dead.
Right.
So,
well, that's what they were trying to do with him being captured by the Sand People and, like, learning their culture and their stuff and kind of breaking that out of him. But at the same time, it's still like, yeah, but, like, again, that changes now our understanding of that character from the other movies.
100% so.
So it's just kind of a... all right.
Which I'm okay with, but again, you've put it in... You're trying to do almost too much. Like, you're trying to give me these flashbacks and show me how he's not that character anymore, but he's still trying to be bits and pieces of that.
Right.
Like, yes, he's moving on, but then you don't just let that character shine and, like, okay, so he's got to go on missions and do the bounty hunter kind of thing,
right,
even though he's really conflicted about it and he really doesn't want to do it.
Right.
He doesn't want to fight these people, but he has to. So, like, you have small bits of that, but then you try and give me so much of the Mandalorian story that, like, you've outshined anything that you had the possibility of doing.
Right.
And I like Boba Fett as a character. Like, to take a character that has maybe 30 seconds of lines in the entire original trilogy, like,
right,
if that,
right,
and has always been this, like, kind of mythological character, and then to do it this way,
right,
and, like, no, I want to see badass,
right. Yeah, I mean, it's a strange character for them to try to build so much around anyway. Just because it is like it wasn't something that, because of what we did, it was like, no, you created this cool character that, you know, got into the imaginations of a lot of fans and stuff like that, of, you know, they liked his look,
right?
It was more or less like all you really had from him. He had a cool ship,
right?
You know, and then to go back and kind of like deal with him and introduce him. I mean, if you look at Boba Fett now, of like you see him in the prequels. And then he has, like, storylines in the Clone Wars,
right,
the animated series and stuff like that. Like, we've got a lot for that character now. Now he's had a whole series, you know, on Disney Plus, and it's like, you know, I don't know. I think they deal with these characters in such a personal way that obviously you're never going to be able to make it in a way that's like perfect for everybody, and like that's what I wanted.
Right.
But I think, Disney does also have a bit of a track record of taking villains and villainous characters and trying to warp them into a more acceptable, like,
sure.
Okay, well, it's okay that you wear that because he's actually kind of a good guy too. Like, it's okay that you like Boba Fett and you can wear a Boba Fett helmet. Doesn't make you a villain. Doesn't make you a bad guy. I don't know. Like, I feel like that's kind of what they did with Maleficent
and
stuff
I
like that.
See that, and I don't dislike that. But what you could, I don't know if they wanted Tamora Morrison to be this character so badly that like he's not in the armor very much. You don't get to see like legit Boba Fett as much as I'd like to.
Right.
You could have very easily done this, right after or right before Sarlacc pit, right? Set it in that time period. Even the flashbacks, giving me more of that. Have some other dude be the Boba Fett in the suit and have Tamora Morrison just voice him. Like, you could have done so many cool things with this and still done the flashback aspect in terms of like, he is this redemptive character and he's going back and he's having these flashbacks of like all the bad crap that I've done, all the shit that's gone on in my life.
Right.
And like, I am trying to redeem myself, but this is what I was.
Right.
And like, so then you kind of see that aging character of, I did a lot of bad things. And you get that like, yeah, he did a lot of bad things. He's
right.
like that's a cool character. But he still has that redemptive aspect. Whereas this, you don't get a whole lot of that.
Right.
You get post Sarlacc pit hanging out with the Tusken Raiders, and those scenes are cool, and I kind of like that. But then you don't get Boba Fett.
Sure, and I guess it's more or less just like I don't know where I want Boba Fett to be in the Star Wars. Like where do I want him to end up? I don't know.
Right.
But I don't think it's necessarily like that he took over Jabba's spot and now he's going to be like the more
Daimo. Yeah,
the more righteous ruler of Tatooine. Like, I don't know. Like, that's just not necessarily like where I wanted that story to go. So it's just kind of like, okay.
Because again, like, yes, we know that he exists on Tatooine. So much of this is on Tatooine again.
Right.
But like, clearly as a bounty hunter and the level of bounty hunter that he's been since his father was killed.
Right.
Like, dude has seen some stuff.
Right.
Give me that. Like,
right.
Show me what happens to Boba Fett after Jango Fett's head's cut off. Like, what does he do? How does he engage? What really happened?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of that in the Clone Wars stuff.
Sure.
Where, like, you see him as a kid growing up and
maybe that's it. Maybe they didn't want to trample on some of that.
And getting involved in bounty hunting. But it's just like this point, like him coming out of the Sarlacc pit, having just been put there by Han Solo, which granted it's not like he can go after Han Solo, but like, I don't know, I feel like that more or less should be more of like have played more of a role.
But you could have shown, you could have shown me that,
or just like more of a conversation, even of just like how are you not more obsessed with that? This dude that you caught,
right? That
you were taking to Jabba, that escaped and sent you into that pit. That there was just no more of a fuck that Han Solo guy, or just I've got to go get that dude.
Right.
It was just kind of like, whatever.
Maybe it's because they knew that they weren't going to get Harrison Ford back, and like there was no culmination in that. So
they don't need Harrison Ford. You just need to talk about Han Solo. And
just
I can't believe that
just
they just
mention them.
Yeah, like, or, I mean,
do they even talk about Han Solo in the series at all?
I don't think they do.
No,
like that was never a mention, like or something in the back of his head of like, this guy has ruined my life. Like, I was doing well. I don't know.
I had 6 lines in the movie.
He was so obsessed with Han Solo that the Sand people were like, dude, chill out.
Right.
You got to forget that. Like, that's not that was not you, or that's something that you've got to overcome now. Like that could have been more of the story,
right?
More or less.
Okay. How about Cad Bane?
I wasn't huge about it.
Really?
I love Cad Bane as the character, Cad Bane, but I didn't like the real version of him.
Why not?
I prefer his look and the take of him. Like, it's the same voice actor, but just his presence, it looked too plastic.
Interesting. Okay.
It looked too rubbery.
Sure.
And they didn't get the look just right. Like, there was something that was just off, that I think he exists better as an animated character than realized, or he should have been CG. to me.
I can see that.
If it wasn't the prosthetic,
it's kind of the same thing.
It just looked a little too rubbery.
I have my issue with Ahsoka Tano. Like her, the braid things, I don't know what they are, but like
they need to be CG or something.
They just look fake.
Yeah, they look rubbery.
Right. And that's it. Maybe it's budget. Maybe, I mean, it could be a culmination or a combination of a lot of things.
Yep.
But it's like, you're Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, I get that this is a series, but you could do so many cool things with that.
Agreed.
It almost felt like I like the look of that character in terms of like his presence, what he meant for the series. But it's almost like they took like a Christmas ornament and like cut it in half and like put him on his, that's his eyes.
Yeah,
like,
and they were just a little too dead. They didn't have any life behind them. But when you're looking at that as a supposed to be a realistic version of it doesn't work. In an animation, you can have those kind of dead eyes and you can play with lighting or whatever, but it just didn't work for me.
So, but I do like what he represents in terms of like the man with no name, like that style of like super Western bounty hunter.
Right, and that's who he's always been. He's always been like the elite of like who Boba Fett's supposed to be. This dude's the bounty hunter at the highest level. Like this dude can hunt Jedi. Like he can do what he wants to do, man. And so like to see him, I loved the fact that they used him.
Yep.
But just personally, like when I saw it, I was like, oh, I don't think it's quite where I want it.
So,
and the fact that he died, I was like,
yeah, you could. I mean, it's a Darth Maul syndrome.
Yeah.
Like you could have done some really cool things. I mean, he died.
Right.
There's ways that they could
for sure
bring him back.
You can get stabbed by a lightsaber and still go hunt Luke.
Right. Be cut in half.
Not a problem. Yeah.
Be cut in half. And
You're
still,
good. You're good.
Things still work.
Yeah, no.
It's fine. All of your limbs can be hacked off.
You are fine.
You're fine. And you could fall in a pit of fire.
Yep.
Don't worry. We got you.
You good.
Right. So like the precedents are set there. They could do that if they wanted to.
Sure.
Season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Have they announced it?
I think they have.
Okay. Are you excited for it?
No. I mean, I'll watch it, but I don't know. I mean, you could certainly turn it around for me really quick with a trailer that's like, yep, that's cool. That's where I want to see Boba Fett.
Sure.
But to ask me where do you want to see him, like I don't really know, but like I think it's not on Tatooine.
I think for me, it's this is a victim of that hype. It's like we're gonna bring back Boba Fett. Yes, Boba Fett, and then you get it, and you're like, I like this. But there's so much more you could be doing here.
Right.
Like give me some more. Give me Boba Fett. Not Boba Fett.
Yeah. I think this one, they took Boba Fett a little bit too, which granted, I mean, it's a Dave Filoni thing, but
sure,
it was more attached to the Clone Wars.
Right.
Where it's like, nah, I'd rather see Boba Fett and the Boba Fett that we knew from Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
Like that kind of a bounty hunter, not so much attached to where you see Boba Fett connecting to the Clone Wars stuff,
right,
or in the prequels.
Anything else on Boba Fett?
Still really surprised that they used and they provided the moments that they did with Grogu and Mando.
Yeah,
that was so surprising to me that they progressed that story so much.
Yeah. They really did.
From where we leave the story at the end of Mandalorian season 2, now if you skipped Book of Boba Fett and you go right into Mando 3, you're not going to understand.
I know their assumption is that like if you're watching Mandalorian, you're going to watch Book of Boba Fett.
Sure.
So like I know that.
Absolutely.
But you're right.
They could obviously like, have a 5-minute, here's what happened.
Right.
And get you caught up. But at the same time, it's like that's surprising that you decided to
forwarded that
those
story.
Big moments here.
Like
Grogu not in their story,
is
in this other dude's story.
Mandalorian over this. Like that's so huge.
Yeah, he's walking away from Luke Skywalker.
Right.
All right. I mean, good call on his part. Because what happens,
that's what you want to do? Yeah. Okay.
No, it's probably a good call. Because that way Kylo Ren doesn't slice you up in a couple of years.
Good point. Good point.
Nah, he'd whip Kylo. But it's this whole thing, too. Like, I mean, and granted, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Let's move on.
All right. You want to do one more drink?
Okay.
I mean, you want to do another drink? Well, it's not one more. We got two more.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Which one you want to do?
I want to save the peach to the end. I'm hoping for that one. Do this rum punch. Country punch. Country punch.
Is it in here?
Oh, there was just 2 of each. What?
We got duped,
God
Kyle.
dang it.
We got 4 watermelons.
Well, I'll be honest with you, man. I wasn't looking forward to the country punch anyway. But sadly, you got 4 watermelons. Don't know what you're going to do with those.
I want
Legit.
I want to point out that it's supposed to have.
Yeah, I saw like 2, 2, 2, 2. So when you pulled out that 3rd watermelon, I was like,
Wait a minute. Huh.
There you go.
Well,
Be writing to countrycocktails.com. You left out the down home punch.
well, I guess that's just as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I was not looking forward to it.
Wow. I don't know what we're supposed to do. I mean, it's not like you can't take it back.
You can't take it back. I mean, you legit. I mean, you could. There's an email address right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna write.
Email
I'm gonna
it to,
write a
hey.
strongly worded email, Kyle.
It's like, hey.
This is a really long episode, so it's probably fast.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it's not really a
I'm
problem.
not saying. I'm just saying.
I didn't want it anyway. Really didn't want it.
All right, Kyle. Well, after that debacle,
Yep.
how about we end this with the Southern Peach?
How about it? This is the one that I'm hopeful for. I like peach.
Yeah,
I really like peach. Peach might be my favorite summertime fruit.
there it is. Ooh. We lost the light. I'm gonna fix it real quick.
That's a long pour. Lights on. We're lit.
All right, the Southern Peach
Southern peach.
looks peachy.
Yeah, peach colored.
Yeah,
That's what you'd expect.
I expect that.
No carbonation.
Very slight carbonation. On the nose, peach.
Fake peach.
Fake peach. Like you walk into a Bath and Body Works and somebody like, hey, you want to try this soap? Peach.
No, there's a very specific gummy peach ring candy.
Oh, like
that-
the cheap.
These
Yeah.
are just those gummy, chewy peach rings.
Yep.
Yep. Like there was a specific brand that my parents used to buy. It came in a bag, and it smells
Like
exactly
the
like
Brax. The Brax. That's the kind we got.
Right.
Yeah.
This one was not Brax. I don't know. I can't remember the brand, but there was probably like a summer or
Right.
whatever that we were just like totally into them.
It's a candy that you would get at a Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely-
100%.
but definitely gummied. Not a hard candy.
No, it definitely gummy. It's got that
I can
that corn
smell-
starchy.
yeah,
like,
I can smell the chewiness. That gummy bear flavor.
all right, I'm going in. Like, why are these so sweet?
You ever have a Faygo?
I did.
Beverage?
I have.
Back in the day?
I did,
I
yeah.
don't know if they still exist.
They do, yeah.
Or what was there a knee high?
Yeah, there's knee high, but I don't. Was there a knee high peach?
I don't know.
Okay.
But this reminds me of those like peachy flavored sodas.
Like,
I mean, it's essentially what it is.
it's essentially what it is, but it's like just overly sweet.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. Again, this one's not terrible.
No, it's I don't know.
I mean,
It's not off-putting. It's too much. Like
Way
it's
too
way like I would never want to sit. I can't imagine the scenario where I'm like, "Yep, I want to sit back and drink this."
an entire 16-ounce can
Yeah,
of this.
yeah. Like 2 sips, I'm done. Like that's enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's enough.
Let's see what Carol thinks.
Better than watermelon.
She says it's better than the watermelon.
Hard agree.
I agree completely with that too.
Not as sweet.
Yeah, definitely not as sweet. But of the three, if I had to drink one of these, I would drink the lemonade.
Yeah.
Like if like I gotta take one for the team, I'm drinking the lemonade.
Yeah.
I might join a different team, but
I'm wondering if perhaps they'd be a little bit more palatable over ice.
maybe.
Than
Yeah.
being called a country cocktail. Like maybe they're not supposed to be, where the ciders and everything was. No, you want this right out of the can. Drink it right out of the can. Like
right.
maybe this benefits if it were
Over ice.
Over ice, and you got a straw in it, so it's not you're not getting like that full impact.
Right, because that would dilute it a little bit. I mean, that's
right.
That's what the ice in a lot of cocktails. It's not to chill it; it's actually to dilute it.
Right. I'm wondering if that would be beneficial and perhaps make it a little bit better.
Well, I probably won't try that. Or maybe you know what? Maybe we might make a quick TikTok about it, or a quick video. We'll put it out on Twitter. We'll put it out
Can't wait.
on a Facebook or something.
Put it on Patreon.
Oh, that's even better.
See how much better we could make the country cocktails.
That's what we do. We just keep adding whiskey to it until it is palatable.
Until it's just Jack. Until it's just single barrel proof. Oh, that's great now. There we go.
This I feel like you had a whole can of this. You're gonna get a headache. Like I feel like a headache coming on right now.
You're just,
That's the Florida summer right there.
yeah. You're just not gonna feel good. You're not gonna finish that and be like,
I really need to know the calorie content of one of these cans.
Man.
Carol, will you look up the calorie content?
pushing 400.
Easy.
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 Like it's got to be over 3. It might be over 4.
Yeah.
Woo! So sweet.
It's just if it were like
It like clenches my throat.
right,
It's so sweet.
right. It's not refreshing. It's not enjoyable. If it were half as sweet, except for the watermelon, it would not be
half as sweet, twice the proof.
right. That's a Dripping
might-
Stone country cocktail. Half as sweet, twice the proof.
Might be better.
11% and only 2 grams of added sugar.
All right, we did it. We did the Jack Daniel's country cocktails.
Man, that is 2 things that we've
2 hard misses.
we've experienced new.
Yeah.
In the last 2 episodes.
Yeah,
Carol, when you find it, you let us know.
yeah. We did the right thing.
By what?
Stepping out of our boundaries.
Yeah. Now we know.
Yeah.
I mean, we had an inkling before. Now it's definitive. Not for us.
Nope.
So if you want to reach out to us, we've got another 6 cans.
Yeah, totally. Got a lot of that watermelon. If you're a Jolly Rancher watermelon fan,
We got the drink for
reach out
you.
to us.
Yeah.
Reach out to us.
202.
What?
Bullshit.
Southern Peach.
In
Wow.
one 16-ounce can?
Or in one serving.
So
And there's 5 servings in
But
it.
it's not usually in cans. It's usually bottles.
Interesting.
It's a 10-ounce bottle.
Okay.
Okay, so that's gonna.
202.
So
It's gonna be over 3.
yeah. So
But
not quite
probably
4.
Not quite 4.
All right. So almost 400 calories a can.
Ugh.
Wow.
Gross.
I mean, we just basically had a meal. You don't need any more sugar.
Yeah, bummer. I have to go for a long run after this. Burn off this sugar.
Maybe I'll get struck by lightning. Be a toasted marshmallow. Well,
Yeah.
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 All right, back to Star Wars.
Okay. What are you excited about the things coming from Star Wars? The future.
Obviously, really excited. And I already mentioned it. Really excited about Mandalorian season 3. Like that's on the horizon. It's over 6 months away. It's after. It's obviously it's in the new year.
Yep.
But I'm really excited to see what they do with that character now that Grogu has made a decision.
Yeah.
And now this, Yoda thing, because we don't really have a species for it.
Right.
How is he going to be a part of now the Mandalorian's life? Because it was always like this, will they, won't they kind of thing of he's trying to get, maybe I should rephrase that.
No, I kind of like it.
Okay. They're trying to get, what is he going to do with this thing? Because
Right.
clearly he loves Grogu. It's very
Totally
clear.
And it's very clear that Grogu sees him as like a father figure.
Absolutely. So now what happens? Because we know that, Mandalorian is only going to live 75 years, give or take.
Right.
This Grogu character is going to live to be at least 900 or around that.
Right.
So as long as something doesn't happen to him. So, there's got to be some thought process there, because technically this Grogu character and the Mandalorian are basically the same age.
Right.
I mean, they said Grogu's supposed to be somewhere around 50 years old, something like that.
Something like that.
And Mandalorian's probably, maybe in his 40s. Pedro Pascal, he's in his 40s. So, they're about the same age.
Right.
Obviously, in terms of how that character develops, different. Right.
Yeah, I think the fascinating thing about Grogu is I would like to think that surely to goodness that was their intent the whole time. But looking at it as far as because he is whatever species Yoda is,
right,
that he is now, I think, going to be the linchpin to further to basically go around the new trilogy,
right,
and Grogu will potentially be the character that is the Yoda for the original Star Wars, but he can be the older, wiser version of a Jedi that now we can go around that older that new trilogy and progress Star Wars forward.
And they
already
can
have a love for this character that has connections to Luke Skywalker,
right,
has connections to the prequels.
Yep.
He ties it all together.
And they can very it'll be heard.
Yeah, but is it a bad thing?
Not necessarily. And they could very easily explain how Grogu is not mentioned in the sequels at all, because these characters would have never known about him.
Right.
Because of, something he does with the Mandalorian, and they would have never known about him.
Right.
But we know as viewers he's been here the whole time.
Right.
And we know what's going on.
He even ties into that new trilogy because he's part of whatever this whole cloning thing is that created Snoke.
Absolutely.
That's what they wanted him for. That's what they were trying to use him for.
Yep.
But he got out.
Yep.
They didn't get him.
He was the one that got away.
Perfect character that ties together everything and that they can then utilize to further Star Wars.
100%.
Move it forward.
What about you? What are you excited about?
I'm honestly, at this point, I'm really intrigued to see what they're going to do with what's her name? Ahsoka. I want to see the Ahsoka series.
Yeah.
Because I've always loved Ahsoka as a character. Her development as a character was super interesting in the Clone Wars, and the additional season 7 stuff that they added on was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like that stuff was absolutely perfect.
Yeah. And she's a character that you can do so much with.
Right.
Because she also has that kind of redemptive story arc.
Right. And she's this gray Jedi or not even a Jedi, but this gray Force user that, kind of can use both sides in a way, but doesn't fit into any stereotype.
Yep.
Super interested to see what they do with her. But honestly, I think I'm most excited for at this point anyway, the Cassian...
Yeah, Ando
series to see what they do with him, because I think it's going to be a prequel to Rogue One.
Yep.
But really interested to see what they do with that character and where they're taking what stuff they're going to pull from. But the droid specifically, his droid K2SO.
Yeah.
Love that droid.
Absolutely.
That's probably literally my favorite droid in Star Wars.
Yeah.
His quips were so funny.
Yeah.
I
think IG-88.
Alan Tudyk does the voice,
yes,
which Alan Tudyk's fantastic.
Yep.
But I loved K2SO.
Yeah. My favorite droid up to IG-88, and I think back and forth for them because of, it's Taika Waititi. And
for sure,
so good. Obviously his story ends really quickly,
right?
But yeah, K2SO, that's gonna be fun.
the shot in Rogue One where he backhands Cassian,
Yeah.
and he's like, and there's a fresh one where that came from. Like, it's so good. That cracks me up.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, his quips were so good, and like honestly, like he had such a cool arc in that story.
Yep.
And his death at the end of it was just so like I think that was like
It was anti-Star Wars.
the most emotional
Yeah,
for me.
for
Like,
sure. Because it's anti-Star Wars,
Yeah.
and he's the Han Solo that you've been wanting the whole time,
Right.
And that's
Yeah, exactly.
and that's kind of what I'm super interested in
Perfect.
about too, is because like now you're going to get this guy who's a Han Solo character, and we'll see what happens because
Right.
that's really what he was in that Rogue One,
Right.
Okay? And I think that's going to be good.
And it's got really bitter.
The peach.
That was rough taste there.
All right, I got like a mouthful.
Oh, buddy, that's a big mouth.
That's regret. You see that face?
That
That's a face of regret.
yeah. We drank some shit today. Gross.
Okay.
I was looking forward to today.
Well, listen. How about we record one more episode?
Yeah.
And we drink something that that's in our wheelhouse that we know is probably going to be great.
We'll try it.
Okay.
And if we don't, the after party is going to be fantastic.
100%. Well, you got anything else on upcoming Star Wars or Star Wars that's been released?
No, I think entertainment wise, like
Yeah.
there's always like thoughts of like what they're doing and where they taking it, but just on stuff that's been announced.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I will say, like, even though through my criticisms over the last two things, like, I love it. Like, I want more. I love what they're doing. I want more of it. I want them to keep making more. I just want them to make more and better.
Yeah, I think it's just because you understand what it can be. And
Absolutely.
You understand how great it can be. So you just by all means keep making it, and surely to goodness at some point we're gonna strike rich and hit that thing.
I think so. Final thoughts on the Jack Daniel's Country Cocktails.
Hard pass.
Hard pass.
Yeah, just not
for us.
Not for us.
Not our no.
Good on you if you like that sort of thing. Drink what you like.
Absolutely. I mean, we always say that. Drink what you like.
Yep.
We want to know what you think about the Jack Daniel's Country Cocktails and what you think about the Book of Boba Fett and Obi Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, and just where do you think Star Wars is going in general? Are you more optimistic or are you more pessimistic?
Yeah.
Pessimistic.
There it is.
What do you think?
And, we haven't gotten a whole lot in terms of new films. So we didn't even mention that. Like, what are they going to do?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, in terms of what's been announced, that's where I'm at.
Right.
But, there haven't been any films announced.
No.
There was supposedly a trilogy of the Old Republic got greenlit, but we haven't heard
We know
anything
nothing about it.
officially about it.
So I want to know, like, would you be stoked to see another set of movies? Are you cool with just a series right now?
Yeah,
And see where they go with this?
It's amazing to me that, like, Disney could just pop these things out.
Absolutely.
Just like what they're doing on Disney Plus.
Yep.
Go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Like,
They're gonna make money.
They're going to make money either way, and it may not be great, but eventually it will.
Yeah.
At some point you'll find the right thing and it'll connect.
Yep.
And just go.
Did I say what do you think about that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You did.
You can get in touch with us through email. It's drepandstone@gmail.com. You also get in touch with us through social media.
It's always one word, Drep and Stone. DREP and Stone. Come find us, like us, share a thing, comment on a thing. We'd love to be in contact with you.
Yeah. Facebook, Instagram,
Twitter, TikTok.
we're everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you'd like to support the podcast, we greatly appreciate it. You can do so through our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/drepandstone. We got a couple levels there, Kyle. $2, a $5, and a $10 level. And it gives everyone more access to Drep and Stone and the Drep and Stone community.
Yeah, much more personalized
100%.
experience that
Absolutely.
we can all be a little bit more connected to each other.
Yeah. And it helps us to continue to make great content for everybody.
Indeed.
Yeah. You can also support the podcast by rating Drep and Stone wherever it is you find great podcasts like this one. And you can support Drep and Stone by telling a random person on the street.
Indeed.
Because you might be traveling. It's the summer. You might be.
Absolutely.
And in your travels,
Laying there on the beach,
sure.
reach over that next towel.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. Do you listen to Drep and Stone? I do.
And you should too.
And you should.
Absolutely. Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
May your glass overflow.
And your ass never show. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.